Hello and welcome back to North Texas Jeep Renegades. On today's episode we got Artica in the garage with us. We're going to be changing the spark plugs in there. On the 1.3 turbo motor you're supposed to change the spark plugs every 40,000 miles. I'm also going to be doing a few little extra tasks because we have a check engine light for cylinder 1 misfire. I'm pretty sure it's due to the spark plugs, but I'm going to go ahead and swap around the coil packs to help diagnose. But I'll show you how to change the spark plugs, at least in this video. Okay, so the 1.3 Firefly engine is actually a little bit different than the 2.4 when it comes to the spark plugs. They do have their own part number, and their service intervals are a little bit different. I want to say on the 2.4 it's every 80 or 90,000 miles you have to swap them. On the 1.3 you have to actually swap them every 40,000 going by the owner's manual. Now the part number for these spark plugs is 68440226. A is an alpha, A is an alpha. The tools that we're going to need to do this are going to be an 8mm socket, a 10mm socket, a 14mm spark plug socket, and a Phillips screwdriver. That's all you need to take this apart and get these spark plugs replaced. Alright, so we're going to start off by removing the top cover. After I did the engine air filter video, it's been brought to my attention not all 1.3s have this cover. We couldn't really figure out why. I know the 2021's a lot didn't, but the 2022's did. It's just been a mess, but on our 2019 with the 1.3 it does have the cover. You're going to start by removing the two 10mm bolts. You got one here and one back here. These have already been pre-loosened, so once you got those loose you can just pop it off and put it to the side. Next you're going to want to remove the four 8mm bolts that hold your air box on. Well, hold your intake to your air box. Then you can pull that up and remove the air filter and just set it to the side. Almost time to replace the air filter again. Next we're going to switch to a 10mm and remove a bolt here, and we're going to remove a bolt right here on this side. Next you're going to want to remove the hose clamp holding the air intake feed tube. You'll need a Phillips head screwdriver, and it's this bolt right here. Once it's loose, you do not have to take it all the way off. You just want it loose enough to be able to pull this pipe off. After that, you can just lift this out and set it to the side. Now to get to your spark plugs and your coil packs, you want to remove this foam. Be very careful not to rip this foam like I did. And set that to the side. Next we're going to want to remove the coil packs. You're going to need a 10mm socket to do that. It's going to be these four bolts. So now we're going to remove the spark plugs. On this engine, I'm not 100% sure which cylinder is 1 and which cylinder is 2, but usually your 2 outer cylinders are on the inline 4. These 2 will be your 1 and 2 cylinders, and these 2 will be your 3 and 4 cylinders. Now, as I said, we had a cylinder 1 misfire, and I need to figure out if it's the spark plugs, the coil packs, or if it's an injector. That's one of the 3 biggest causes of a misfire. So I'm going to end up swapping these 2 and these 2. So that way whenever I replace the spark plugs, if it goes away, then I know it's a spark plugs. If the light comes back on and changes to a different cylinder, then I know it was the coil pack. And if it comes on and stays the same cylinder, then I know it's probably an injector. So let's go ahead and start changing these spark plugs. Alright, to change the spark plugs, you will need a 14mm spark plug socket. You can either use the magnetic ones or the kind with the rubber washer in there. Whatever can actually hold the spark plug and help pull it out. So let's start by removing these coil packs. I prefer to do just one at a time when I'm removing the spark plugs. Alrighty. So that's a little crispy. The tip is fouled a little bit on this spark plug, but it looks like it should still be getting spark. And these come pre-gapped by Mopar. Alright, so since I've already replaced those 2, I'm going to go ahead and swap my coil packs. Alright, so all you do is pull back on this red tab right here, and then pull it off. And you repeat the process on this one, and then we're going to swap them. You just push it back in, reseat it on. At this time you could use dielectric grease just to help seal this and keep water out. I don't have any right now, so I'm going to skip that step. I'll come back later and add it in. Two cylinders down, 2 to go. We're halfway there. Okay, so let's knock out these last 2 and then we'll start putting everything back together. Alright, once you got everything moved, you want to put your bolts back in for your coil packs. Speaking of which, if anybody could tell me which side's cylinder 1, I'm pretty sure it's this one. But if anybody knows, please comment down below. It would really help me and whoever's watching this out. Thank you. You're going to use your 10mm to tighten these back down. Next thing we're going to want to do is put your foam piece back in. Easy way to tell how it goes, this little notch right here goes around these wires. Okay, once you have your protective foam piece back in place, it's time to reinstall your air box. while your airbox is out, go ahead and make sure there's no debris in it. Wipe it out, clean it. If you have an air compressor and a blower, blow it out. So that way you can keep your air filter a little cleaner longer. Once your airbox has been cleaned out, just put it back in place. And replace the two 10mm screws, bolts that came out of it. Once that's in place, you're going to want to reinstall your air filter. And for that, you'll need the 8mm next. Now let's go ahead and install your air hose. Use your Phillips head to screw it back in. And then if you have one without an engine cover, you are done. If you're like us and do have the engine cover, put that back on. Thank you again for watching this video. If you found this helpful, or if you have any comments, comment down below, give us a like and subscribe. And until the next time, thank you guys.